For more than 75 years, the American Academy of Neurology has advocated and supported the financial well-being, continuing viability, and innovation of the practice of neurology. As this year's annual meeting continues in Colorado, AAN TV is spotlighting the ongoing commitment to education and academics that the Academy upholds. Welcome back to Denver and to the 2024 AAN annual meeting. I'm your host, Sonia Mogi. Today we are shifting the focus to the way the Academy puts education and educators first. First up, we will spotlight the AAN's new strategic plan as we sit down with one of the architects of this year's bold new 5-year mission. More straight ahead from the AAN Academic Neurology Committee and the challenges the academic community is facing. Plus, new this year, we'll take a tour of the educators' room here at the annual meeting and check in with the editor from the Neurology Education journal. And we're making music with one neurologist by day, recording artist by night. And we head to California to see how Stanford University is taking on tumors with innovative methods. AAN TV is always on, and there are plenty of ways for you to watch. You can always find the latest episodes on the TVs placed throughout the convention center, on the in-house channels at several of our partner hotels, on the homepage of the annual AAN meeting website, and on the AAN's YouTube and X, formerly known as Twitter. Now we get started today with a recent President's Spotlight video that unveiled an innovative and fresh focus for the future of AAN. Here's Dr. Carlane Jackson.
Hi everyone, this is Carlane Jackson, your president of the American Academy of Neurology. I'm thrilled to announce that we're launching a 5-year strategic plan with a bold new mission, goals, and values. Our new expanded mission is to enhance member career fulfillment and promote brain health for all. Our vision is still to be indispensable to you, our members. We will keep delivering the education, science, and advocacy we're known for, while making sure that you have what you need to be successful and fulfilled in your careers. To guide us on our way, our new values are community, leadership, well-being, and diversity, equity, and inclusion. We've set 4 goals to follow our mission: to grow a diverse neurology workforce, strengthen neurologic practice, promote neuroscience research, and improve neurologic health. To learn more, go to AAN.com/strategic plan. I'd like to give a shout out to Dr. Lyle Jones, who led the way in shaping this strategic plan. Thank you so much for all of your hard work. And thanks for watching today. I'm excited to see the progress the Academy will make with our new plan.
And joining me now with more on this exciting new vision for the AAN is the chair of the Strategic Planning Committee, Dr. Lyle Jones. Dr. Jones, for those who don't know you, can you describe your role with the AAN Board of Directors?
So my primary role on the AAN Board of Directors is chair of the AAN Quality Committee, but I also chair the AAN Strategic Planning Committee, which is charged with setting up and executing and delivering on the AAN Strategic Plan.
And in your role as chair of the Strategic Planning Committee, you help lead the development of a new strategic plan. What is different about this plan from previous strategic plans?
Great question. The AAN, for a long time, has been a very strategic organization. It's really been a big part of its success. So with this new plan, we revisited some of our guiding principles, some of which had been in place since 2008. And developed a long-term view for what the Academy would like to achieve over the next 5 years. Building on success from some of our prior chairs, Dr. Jim Stevens, Dr. Carlane Jackson, Dr. Jim Goldenberg, we created a plan that led to a new mission. We have reaffirmed our vision. We have new values, and we have 4 new goals. The 4 new goals are to grow a diverse neurology workforce, to strengthen neurologic practice, to promote neuroscience research, and to improve neurologic health.
And what are some of the challenges that neurology is facing, and how do you plan to address them in the next 5 years?
Great question, because this is why we designed this strategic plan. We know that neurologists are facing struggles in their day-to-day practice, workforce issues. There are not enough neurologists, and patients don't have access that they need to neurologic expertise. There are overwhelming administrative burdens in neurologic practice, and the sense of career fulfillment really isn't where we want it to be for neurology. And that's why we put at the very beginning of our mission to enhance member career fulfillment and promote brain health for all.
And what are you most excited about with this plan, and what do you hope members take away from this process?
So this plan is a long-term plan. It's our first ever 5-year plan. And what that's allowed us to do is really be aspirational and set some really stretch goals for us as an organization and us as a specialty. And when we achieve these goals in 5 years, we will have transformed the face of neurology and improved the practice of neurology to make it more fulfilling for our members. And at the end of the day, give better care to our patients.
Dr. Jones, thank you so much for your time today.
Thank you for having me.
The Academic Neurology Committee champions the viability of academic neurology by addressing business and organizational issues of academic neurology departments. Chair and Vice Chair of the committee, Dr. David Greer and Dr. Brenda Banwell, are here in studio now to discuss some of the exciting happenings. Thank you so much for joining me today. Let's start off with the overall mission of the AAN's Academic Neurology Committee. What are you sort of hoping to address in terms of challenges facing this field?
I think the Academic Neurology Committee is a little bit complex because I consider it like an umbrella committee that oversees multiple very important subcommittees. So it's broken down into the Division Chief Subcommittee, the Department Chairs Subcommittee, the Advancing Women in Neurology Subcommittee, and the Diversity Officer Subcommittee. And there are 2 work groups underneath that also, the BA work group or the Business Administrator work group and the Associate Professors. So we oversee a lot of really important committees that are doing important work in academic neurology, and they all do different things that are somewhat complementary and somewhat overlapping, but also divergent. So we're able to come up with some overall mission ideas of things that we think should be tackled by individual groups. They go off and tackle them and come back and report to us, and then we give opinions about what would be most helpful. It's really designed to help every academic member of the American Academy of Neurology and make sure that we are meeting everyone's needs. So we need to be very diverse in our interests and our coverage, and hopefully we've accomplished that.
Absolutely. And what is unique about leadership in academic neurology?
Well, I think as leaders in academic departments or divisions, one has to advocate for a broad constituency. People that are world-class clinicians who spend a lot of their time at the bedside or in the hospital or in the clinic. One advocates for the highest quality of education in neurology, both at the early level, high school if we can, medical school certainly, and then our residency and fellowship training programs. And of course, neuroscience is based on science, and so we have to think about the academic mission of discovery, evidence-based care, next step innovation. So an academic neurologist or an academic neurology program is one that actually harnesses all of those various missions into a cohesive, forward-thinking sort of community that we foster.
And Dr. Greer, how does leadership change over the course of an academic career?
Well, that's a really interesting question. I think it depends on an individual's path, and there are a lot of different pathways to leadership. I'm currently a chair of a department, Dr. Banwell is as well. And I think we came there from very different pathways. But life kind of takes you in different directions, and you look at where you are and what you're doing. And I think the most important concept is to think, what's going to make me happy and fulfilled in 5 years, 10 years, for the rest of my career, and understanding that that can change.
And speaking of chairs, you both went to this year's Ralph L. Sacco Neurology Chair Summit. Can you talk a little bit about how that was valuable to chairs?
Well, I think first of all, it's a community, and leadership is both incredibly rewarding, but it's also a time where you, in your career, where the people around you are often not people with whom you can share some of the day-to-day challenges. It's not the right location to do that. It's not necessarily the best place to voice the challenges of being a leader. So the summit really brings leaders together where we can have a very open sort of space to talk about the real challenges of being leaders in academic and community-facing neurology practices, to think together about the innate challenges in healthcare administration, financial stewardship, the ever-changing landscape of different community issues. I mean, we all went through COVID and a unique experience for everyone in terms of the major shifts we all had to come to bear. And I think having a community of other leaders provides a forum for really important conversations in our field.
Having a community, like Brenda was saying, of other neurology chairs with different experiences can be extraordinarily helpful. And we didn't have that before the Ralph Sacco Summit. There was just not a lot of networking. You'd see each other at meetings, you'd shake hands, say, how are things going? The other person would say, great, and you didn't know if it was really true. Now, like, all the stuff starts to come out of, like, here are the real challenges that we're facing. And not only do we recognize the challenges, we come up with creative solutions to fix them together and come up with resources that'll help other chairs. So we created a life cycle of the chair toolkit as an example of how do you onboard as a chair? What are the things that you need to know? How do you look at a spreadsheet? How do you mentor faculty and develop them? How do you work with philanthropy? These are all things that every chair needs to know, but there was never a resource for this before. And I think since the chairs started really coming together as a group, now we have an opportunity to really do that.
Well, thank you both so much for sharing your perspectives, and I hope you enjoy the rest of the meeting.
Thank you very much.
The AAN's commitment to educators has never been stronger than it is today. Dr. Roy Stroud serves as the editor for Neurology Education and explains how neurology has a strong tradition of phenomenal teachers and a commitment to greater education.
So Neurology Education is a brand new journal. We launched 2 years ago at the Academy meeting, and it is really the first journal of its kind. We publish the science of teaching and learning, so how to teach, how to train, and do so for neurology and the clinical neurosciences. There's no other journal like it. That's a huge need for neurology educators. We're doing new work, we're doing evidence-based teaching work, and this is the journal that publishes that science, which is critical for members, for non-members, and really for the field to grow and grow in a way that we're doing the right things when we teach and knowing what we're doing. There's a big need to grow the field of neurology, and so the journal really caters to that entire group, and that's medical student training, but also other areas of clinical neuroscience education, neurologists, neurosurgeons, psychiatrists, the whole group, the whole team that takes care of a patient with a neurologic disease. There's a lot of work going on right now in the Academy to prioritize education and educators, and one of the things is the new Neurology Education room at the meeting. This is really exciting. It is basically a meeting in the meeting. Throughout the entirety of the Academy meeting, there is a space where people can come together and connect with others, collaborate and build new ideas and new communities and learn. It can be hard to be an educator because you're often kind of out on your own. If you're a movement disorder expert or a neuro-oncologist, there's usually a community where you are that you can work with and connect with, but many educators feel isolated. To me, the Academy is the place to bring those people together. You can meet other educators, gain mentorship and guidance, and share ideas. And that's really what makes education great, is when we're sharing ideas and collaborating and working together. And the Academy does that. It's a great place to come together and identify people who are like you, if I have those same passions and interest in sharing.
And picking up our tour of incredible institutions around the world, the Stanford Brain Tumor Center adopts a collaborative approach to the treatment of brain and spine tumors. One key research initiative revolves around the utilization of CAR T-cell immunotherapy to combat glioblastoma, an aggressive form of brain tumor. Let's take a closer look.
These are really exciting times for the Department of Neurology here at Stanford. We are really putting a lot of focus on translating the fabulous science that's going on in our labs and bringing that to our patients.
The B7H3 clinical trial is a phase 1 clinical trial in which we're bringing CAR T cells that are genetically modified to target the B7H3 antigen on the surface of glioblastoma brain tumor cells, and understanding the mechanism and also the safety and feasibility. And what we're seeing is that not only are we achieving the intended effect, but also patients are recovering neurologic functions that they had lost otherwise, and that gives me a lot of hope.
For many, the COVID pandemic lockdown was a time of slow professional growth and more downtime than any of us wanted. But for one innovative neurologist, it also sparked a period of creativity. In today's Off the Clock segment, meet Dr. Steven Ker, New York City neurologist and recording artist.
Yeah, when we were working on this album, A Trace of Yourself, it was right when the pandemic landed, and we were in New York. And I think it was just a very fraught time for everybody. I think for doctors, perhaps in particular. I was working in a COVID unit, which was not something I was all that familiar with. So it just felt really fraught and really tense. And I think that definitely comes through in what A Trace of Yourself, the album, is about. The songs kind of touch on loss and yearning and confusion, trying to find your place and find your purpose. Working with Eric Leroy, my collaborator in The Formalist, back when we were undergrads. And it's kind of evolved over the years, but we landed on the idea of the formalist as something that's very precise, very intentional. And as a neurologist, I think a lot of precision goes into what we do, careful observation, everything in its right place. And I think that sort of thinking informs how we make music and what the formalist is about. I think creating the album, which we did in early 2020 into 2021, when we wrote most of it, when I was writing the lyrics, it was kind of a way for me to get out things about my career as a neurologist. How could I know that what I was doing mattered, or what the impact was going to be? So the idea of a trace of yourself is, what trace do we leave behind? And I think as a neurologist, as a doctor, it's what do we give to the people we take care of? Or as a scientist or a researcher, it's what little contribution do we make to the field that then carries forward, and how do those traces continue into the future?
It's time now to hit the conference floor to talk to you. In today's question of the day, we ask you, how has the AAN helped you further your education? And since two brains are better than one, we've enlisted the help of none other than Sarah Bellum. Take it away, Sarah.
Sarah Bellum, it's so nice to meet you. Thank you for asking. This is my first time here at AAN, and I'm so excited to be here. It's been great going to all the lectures and meeting everyone, networking from different programs.
Thank you for the question. I participated in a leadership program several years ago, so that I feel was very instrumental. Also, I just recently downloaded the Question of the Day app.
Sarah, thank you for asking. The AAN has been very helpful in making me brush up my basics as far as the neurology aspect, and I'm also learning a lot about new research and new technology.
That's a great question, Sarah. The AAN has really helped me learn about new advancements in neurology and also learn about possible career paths.
Well, Sarah, that's an excellent question. You know, the AAN is the perfect opportunity to meet all the trendsetters in neurology, to hear a little bit more about the up-and-coming studies, the new developments in the field, and to meet all of the aspiring future neurologists who make this field great and what it is. So I'm here to learn from others and to connect with the future leaders of neurology.
Well, hi, Sarah Bellum. I am really happy you're interviewing me right now. You have definitely helped me to stay up to date with many of the subjects that I deal with in a daily life, and seeing the latest research and everything put together here at once make it easier for all of us to keep doing what we do on a daily basis. I'm very happy to be here. I'm very happy to be interviewed by you, Sarah.
And we've got one more off the clock segment for you today. When it comes to firing up the neurons, creativity plays a key role. Now we introduce you to two neurologists who spend their time outside of office sparking ingenuity.
The brain is so beautiful. I think that that's one thing that's so cool about our particular specialty. And you think about like the Ramani Kahal, like neurons that he did, he was doing them for scientific purposes, but they're just gorgeous. Like, neurons are just so pretty. And the other thing that I like about doing like a neuron is that you can do things that are kind of a little bit unusual. Like, I do these curly cues and things like that, but your brain still reads it as a neuron, and you can do different colors, so it's not like I'm limited to a certain palette. It allows me to be a little bit wild with my creativity.
I think I've always found a creative outlet to be really helpful. In creating these anatomic models, it's given me kind of a framework to say, like, even if things are difficult, there's something very beautiful and powerful and fascinating about what our bodies are able to do. Today, I have 4 separate models. They were all printed at the NYU Health Sciences Library. This is 2 hemispheres of the brain that I painted to represent different anatomic landmarks. So this one is painted with the different kind of lobes of the brain, and then this one I painted to show the different vascular territories.
Zach London from the University of Michigan contacted me, and he said he's interested in developing some kind of game that focused on diversity in the history of neurology. And what we came up with was this card game called Endowed Chairs Neurology. So you are now the chair of a neurology department, and you have a tripartite mission of education, clinical, and research. And this features 12 women from the history of neurology. These women were all great leaders in neurology, and I think we don't talk enough about the contributions of diverse people to neurology. We often focus on just a few people who have eponyms, and so this is a way of exposing you to the many different and diverse leaders that have existed in neurology.
What we do as neurologists can be very challenging, and there are definitely hard days. And I will say that having a creative outlet has helped me immensely to process those experiences and learn from them rather than kind of allow them to be a burden. It's also given me something to be proud of outside of work, and I think all those things create resilience.
I love my job, but it can be exhausting, and I love my kids, but they are also exhausting. And doing these things like embroidery or painting or making a card game, this gives me a lot of energy. Or researching these great women from history. It's all, it makes your day better. It makes you feel productive in a way that's less stressful, and that is a really beautiful thing.
Creativity outside the clinic, very impressive. And that's a wrap for AAN TV on this 4th day here in Denver. We still have one more day of fresh new content to come, but remember, you can always catch AAN TV anytime. AAN TV is always on, and there are plenty of ways for you to watch. You can always find the latest episodes on the TVs placed throughout the convention center, on the in-house channels at several of our partner hotels, on the homepage of the annual AAN meeting website, and on the AAN's YouTube and X, formerly known as Twitter. We've still got one more day ahead, and we can't wait to see you right back here tomorrow as we highlight an AAN value, wellness. Have a great one, everyone.